Welcome back to another coffee break. We had a really good fall break, and it's good to be sort of back in the saddle, as it were, at school, with kids back in the building, teachers back in the building, everything going on. It's a wonderful time. You know, there's only two things, basically, that separate us as human beings from the rest of the animal kingdom. One is the fact that we have opposable thumbs, and opposable thumbs are one of the things that has allowed us to excel at making machinery. But the other is that we are the only animal alive on the planet who has ever learned to put their language down in written form. No other species that I'm aware of has been able to accomplish this. And it doesn't matter what language you speak, what dialect you have, everybody across the globe has been able to put their written word into some type of, their spoken word rather, into some type of written form. And as an English teacher and, as a human being, I think that this is vitally important that we realize this is not something to be taken lightly. As students and as teachers and as parents, it is our obligation as human beings to learn to write as well as possible. Now, I understand there are circumstances sometimes that make it more difficult for some people to write well than others. I get that. Writing to the best of your ability is writing well. Taking it for granted and not learning to write well, sloughing it off, why do I need this? That is simply not an acceptable path. Now let me tell you what writing well will get you. I'll take you back to a class that I had at Lee University. When I was studying theology, I took a class on on Galatians and Ephesians in the New Testament. And our professor was one of these guys who stood at the front of the class. He lectured for 90 minutes. We wrote as fast as we could write. And then when it was time for a test, the test was 8 questions on the board. He would write out 8 essay questions, and we were to answer any 5 we wanted to answer. And we had a 90-minute time period to answer those questions. And without fail, it took all of us the entire 90 minutes to answer 5 questions. Now, one of the things that he did that we all sort of liked, I think, was that he would go through and give us feedback after the test, he would pick someone's answer to read as an exemplar. This is what a really good answer looks like. So when you see that this person got a 10 on this question out of 10, and you got a 6, maybe you can understand where your 6 came from by seeing what you didn't add that the other student had. And so having our name called out and our answers read in class was sort of a big deal. And I remember on the second test of that semester, I believe it was question number 3. I could be wrong. He called out Mr. Childers. I'm going to read Mr. Childers' answer. And I was like, whoa, okay, let's see how this baby goes. And he did. He read my answer from beginning to end. And he said, now the reason I read Mr. Childers' answer is because it is absolutely, entirely, 100% wrong. But he wrote so well and argued his point so well, I gave him a 10 out of 10. Writing well can help you even when you don't know what in the world you're talking about. So students, I encourage you. I absolutely implore you. I beg of you. I beseech you. I ask you diligently. Please learn to write well. Not a paragraph, not 5 paragraphs. But whatever it takes to answer a question, write it. And write it well. It will stand you in good stead throughout your life, I promise. We'll see you next week.